Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Hardy Books Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Maloney, and today we have a very, very intriguing, one of the most interesting guests he's like I suppose I was looking at a YouTube comment section, and one of the comments said, he's like a real life villain from the Far Cry video game series.
God, I hope
which
not.
Which is a compliment, you know.
Oh, fair enough.
So, yeah, on the podcast with me, it's a pleasure to have the elusive and legendary John McAfee. Welcome to the show, John.
Hey, thank you for having me on. You know, I'm always happy to talk to a fellow Irishman, and so thank you again.
Yeah, us Irish people, we're three sheets to the wind, as they'd say. A mad bunch of bastards.
I'm currently drinking grappa.
Grappa.
Yes,
Nice.
for those who have not tried it, I highly recommend it.
Maybe I should grab. I got some Patron tequila in the cupboard. It wasn't
You motherfucker! Don't you dare pull that shit out in front of me, knowing that I can't drink it, because I can't get that where I am.
Oh, right.
I'm just saying. Now, I'm joking, dude. Bring it out, and I will toast your health.
Sorry about that. Here's one I prepared earlier. This is one I have on the go. As it'd say in Ireland, crouching tiger, hidden naggin. Interesting story about this here. This was a hip flask for brandy, but today it has tequila in it. I wasn't expecting it to go like this, but I suppose when you keep it up with the heavyweights, when in Rome, you've got to lush it out, John.
You know, I mean, the serious drinkers, with all due credit to my ancestry and my identity, you know, we are nearly matched by those fucking Mexicans who created tequila.
Oh,
yeah, well, it's more than alcohol. It's alcohol made from the cactus leaves of a psychoactive cactus. So, yes.
So that's mezcal.
Yes, that's what it is.
Oh, wow. Because I always thought, I didn't know mescaline came from mezcal, but I kind of did.
No, wrong. You're getting mescaline and peyote confused.
Mm.
Okay, mescaline comes from the psilocybin mushroom. It's that purple mushroom, which I accidentally picked in the wild sometime, and it was not the mescaline. It was a poisonous variety. Didn't have fun, but it's a different story. Mezcal, which is the true Mexican tequila, comes from a different plant, not the mushroom. It's a cactus thing, and nor is it the peyote cactus. I wish I knew the name in Spanish, but in any case, it's very nice stuff, as you're understanding.
Have you done peyote?
Nothing I haven't done. Peyote's not my favorite. Anything that forces me to vomit before I can get off, I put that way down in my list of preferences for psychedelics.
I think that was San Pedro that you might have taken, but they seeds.
No. Peyote, which is, yes.
You throw up on that as well, do you?
Pardon? Oh, no, you're right about mescaline. Good God, I'm an old man who's lost my fucking memory. You're right. Mescaline does come from the peyote cactus, from the cactus button. The pods, right? The seeds, the things that when you chew them, you do in fact go up. The psilocybin is what comes from the mushrooms. Jesus, God, I'm getting old. My apologies. Why didn't you fucking correct me and say, "Oh man, you have lost it. Here's the truth." So my apologies.
No, because for a second I was like, psilocybin. I was like,
forget it.
We have some great mushies in Ireland, and they're free of charge every year. And there's a lot of people who, there's a lot of people just go out to golf courses and places where they have like goats and grazing animals, and then they just pick them. But I think the Druids are into that.
So you're telling me that you invited me on your show but neglected to even offer to send me, I mean, a single fucking shroom. I mean, is that friendly?
Well, I don't have any myself. I say every year I'll go out and pick a few mushies, and I think the last time I actually successfully did that was 2007. I live in Sweden now as well, which is it's real kind of.
Fair enough. Yeah, there's only two winters. There's only two seasons there, right? I mean, you got winter and then one day in the summer with a name. I don't know, but
it's not with a name, the Midsummers. But no, it's the opposite to midwinter. Yeah, it's. Do you know what? A man of your caliber wouldn't appreciate life in Stockholm, man. I mean, everything is so orderly.
Listen, Janice and I spent almost a week in Stockholm. I think just last year, or maybe the year before, when I spoke at the Stockholm Blockchain Conference. I found it a fascinating city. You got things like mulled wine, and
look.
Yes, and all kinds of shit that you just can't get anywhere else.
Well, it's very cozy. Like, I mean, it's just that it's a nice place. I can't really say anything wrong about the place, but sometimes it's just like Ireland, the weather is shite, but you kind of get like an extra 2 weeks of spring, or like, let's say, so you get 2 weeks extra of summer each side, kind of week and a half. So that extra. And plus it gets dark here. Like like now it's dark at like 3:30 in the afternoon, and it's only going to get darker as you get closer to the, mid-winter.
But this contrast of seasons, hardships, and joy and things. Listen, I lived in Ecuador for a while on the equator with a temperature, and I was at 8,000 feet in the town of Cuenca. It's like perpetual fucking springtime. I mean, it's heaven. It's the garden of fucking Eden. But after 3 months of that shit, where you never see a cloud in the sky, doesn't rain, doesn't snow, you don't have high winds, you just have perfect fucking weather. People want to run out into the streets and mug little ladies just to vent this frustration from the fucking boredom. I'm telling you the truth here.
Yeah, I lived in Ios in Greece for I think it was like 4 months when I was 20, and I remember getting excited when I saw a cloud. When I came to Sweden for the first time, it was raining. I was like, "Wow, rain, man! I haven't seen this shit in ages."
I know you wanted to get naked and run in it, didn't you?
Well, I wouldn't go that far now, but maybe.
Whoa. Are Irishmen that reserved? Are Irishmen? I mean, the reason that God created alcohol, as you well know, is so that the Irish would not take over the world. Yeah, However, look at that. There's proof right there. Drinking while I'm doing it, and let me, to you. But otherwise, we would own the fucking world, and it would be, I don't know, I think a sorry mess.
I tell you one thing, they're doing well, the Irish, though. Like, compared to my parents' generation, when they went to London, for example, they were all in the construction industry and kind of did all the jobs that the English didn't want to do. Same with America. But now they seem to be kind of climbing to, I suppose the IT sector and film and finance and that kind of thing. They've made their ways up to the higher echelons of industry nowadays. What's the story? You were born in England.
I was.
And are your parents Irish?
No, my mother was British. My father was an American soldier serving in World War II. He was Irish. His father came over from Ireland.
Yeah,
he was full Irish. My mother was, of course, British. My mother's husband at that time was a British man who was fighting in France and had been for 2 years. So they struck up a friendship, and the next thing you know, I pop out. So it's a very funny story, actually. My mother, her husband was a jeweler, I had a jewelry store in a small town near Wales. And they had an apartment upstairs. The husband, again, was fighting in France. My father came over one night in a romantic mood with a shitload of candles, which he had just scored from the U.S. commissary somehow. And so lit candles all over the place. It was very romantic. And next thing you know, the building catches fire. And my mother and father escaped to the second floor window with bed sheets, stark raving naked. Didn't have time to find the fucking clothes. And the whole town is up and awake and watching, because nothing ever happens in rural England.
Oh, yeah. The scandal.
A fire. No, it's the fire itself. So there's a fire. Everybody wakes the fuck up and runs with their picnic and wine and whatever and watching it. Well, there's my mom and dad stark raving naked in the streets. Now, obviously, that news made its way to my mother's husband. And, anyway, allegedly that's the night that I was conceived.
Wow!
And you know, look what chance hath wrought.
Isn't it fascinating? Like your conception was such a anomaly of an event, and I mean. Your life, like, funny, like all I knew about you until very recently was that you made McAfee antivirus software, which I think a lot of people have joked on YouTube saying it was harder to get rid of than the actual virus.
Absolutely, and it doesn't work anymore. No antivirus software works, just to inform anybody who's willing to listen. Go ahead, I'm sorry. Hello.
Sorry, there was a bit of throttle in there. I think McAfee was.
I lost you for about 20 seconds there. I'm sorry.
No worries. It was, you were saying about the no antiviral software works nowadays.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's useless. I mean, all it does is chew up system resources. 90% of all hack threats are social engineering these days. Nobody wants to spend the time and effort to code a specific worm to get into your system. Fuck that. No. Half-hour social engineering gets you anything you want these days. So, yeah. No, it's worthless.
Yeah, so people don't really bother with it anymore.
I don't know if they do or not. It's not my company anymore.
Yeah. But like that was another thing. I mean, like you did a mathematics degree, which I think is probably the cornerstone of my life's folly, because back in school I was like, maths isn't boring, and I've suffered for it since. But like you did the right thing. You did the maths degree, and I was watching you did a podcast where you were talking about getting a clearance for Lockheed Martin. Some of the questions they were asking you. Could you just give the audience what you said?
I was always in industry, technically, way advanced for the average software engineer or system architect. And at Lockheed, it was so obvious. So I was selected for a black program. Now, a black program is something that even today I can't tell you about, because they don't exist in any formal way, shape, or form. I mean, there's just these holes in budget where money gets sucked in. So, and all black programs are military programs. So anyway, I go, sure, I'll do it, because in the black program, life is fucking sweet. Everybody knew that. So I go, yeah, I'll do it. But I thought, I don't stand a rat's chance in hell of ever getting a clearance, And so they just started asking questions, have you ever cheated on your wife? Yeah. More than once? Absolutely. You ever smoked marijuana? Oh, absolutely. Much? Oh, fuck, as much as I can. Have you ever dealt drugs, sold drugs? Huh? Which drugs? I can't think of any I didn't sell. So I was telling the truth. So I'm thinking, fuck me. That's fucked. Because, listen, I knew enough at that time to know I couldn't lie to these people. No fucking way. They would know somehow the first time I touched my own dick in a sexual fashion to masturbate. They would figure that shit out. So I had to tell the truth. And I go, God damn, why are they asking all that shit? Why didn't they ask about technical stuff, what I could do for them? So,
yeah.
So I go back, and my boss said, how to go, you're going to have to make other plans because I do not think that there's any chance of me getting clearance. In less than 2 weeks, I got a clearance. It's like, what the fuck was that about? I think what happened is they go, okay, so he's kind of like maybe a little above average in his, weirdness and shit, but I don't think it's possible to blackmail this motherfucker. Right?
Right. Yeah.
And then, or something. I had no clue, but I got it and got on the black program and oh my God, that's the ride of your life. You don't exist, right? I still got paid from Lockheed Martin, but I was working for an organization that I could tell nothing to my superiors about. And so, as a matter of policy, every single review got the maximum goddamn raise, which is 30% at the time. And everybody in every black program, that's what you get, right? Otherwise, it's unjust. They didn't know that you were not the greatest performer in the world, which I was not. So anyway, I had to get off on black programs. I'm not sure.
So, and then after you worked with Lockheed or the black programs, was it shortly after that then you got into the cybersecurity? You were the first person to.
Well, I was the first person to develop any cybersecurity program, and that was an antivirus program. I was still at Lockheed Martin, and I was back for the weekend from the state that I was working in. I was working clear across the country, where I was employed. But I got to come home every fucking weekend, and they paid for everything. So I'm home. My brother-in-law, who was living with us at the time, really a worthless motherfucker, very lazy. Anyway, was reading the San Jose Mercury News, which is Silicon Valley's largest newspaper, and said, "What's this about a computer virus?" So I just grabbed the paper and read it. The first word publicly. About a thing called a computer virus. And I was fascinated as I read it. It had the ability to replicate itself, to attach itself to other diskettes and to move from computer to computer. I'm going, fuck me. That's some clever programming. I was just, wow, I was awed. And then I sat down and said, how did they do this? And pretty quickly I figured it out. Oh, they did it by doing this and this, by attaching to the boot sector, becoming part of the bootstrap loader, of course. Piece of cake. So when I figured that out, instantly it came to my mind how I could stop it. You could stop it by doing this. Wrote a little program, took a day and a half, put it up on my bulletin board system. That was all that existed prior to the internet, were tens of thousands of bulletin boards around the world. And within a week, millions of people were using that program. And that's how it started. So
then did you have to get investors then to,
No, fuck no. See, this is the, I don't know why people are looking for money. Because if you love what you're doing, and if you're willing to apply yourself 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, you don't need money. I never needed money. No one ever fucking needs money. You need money when you're not sure about what you're doing.
Interesting. Because it's something that, people are kind of, if you look at the likes of Robert Kiyosaki when he's talking, I think a lot of it comes down to your attitude as well when it comes to money. And I suppose my attitude was never really that savvy with it, but
I've never been savvy. You don't have to be savvy with money. If you want money, then forget about making it, because money will come to you provided you're doing what you love. Here's why people are making money. They're doing something for money. I mean, that may succeed, it may not, but even if it succeeds, you're going to have a miserable life. Or you do what you love. And I swear, people, if you're doing that and only that, you will make money. I mean, I don't know how it works. I really don't. I wish it did. I'm sure it's some quantum mechanical formula. However, money flows to those that are doing what they love. End of story.
Well, it's like, imagine a guy who's very good with getting women, right? Say a man like yourself.
You know what? Why don't you subtract 30 years from my age, and that would be an accurate statement.
But you know how like some people, they're like, I just want to get a girlfriend, and they focus on it so much. The same applies with money. It's like the old adage, the hungry dog never gets the bone. So when you do something you enjoy doing, it just becomes like a side product of.
Yeah. Well, let me give you an example. You talked about women, and then someone can get women. So the first time I lived in New York, I was 24 years old at the time. And listen, it's a hard life in New York. I mean, you're working, and then you got a few hours of play, and then you're fucking working just to survive. So this whole thing about, okay, I'm going to because what did I want at the time? I wanted money. I wanted sex. I'm 24 years old. As many women, beautiful, if possible, in my bed as possible.
And this is the 60s as well.
Pardon?
Is this the 60s?
This is the 70s, sorry.
70s, yeah.
No, it is 1969. Fuck yeah. The end of the 60s.
It's time to be in New York, man.
All right, so now, the end of the 60s. So I just gave up on that whole play. And I would go, because in New York, there are literally thousands of singles bars. I would walk into a new one on Friday after work. And I would literally scan the environment. What women appear to be, not with men. If there was another friend, that's fine. And I would go through the bar, one after another, and say, hi, my name is John. I'm sorry, but I've been admiring you. I would love to fuck you. What do you say? 9 out of 10 would go fuck off. Some actually slapped me. A couple had boyfriends and cruised a little bit. However, I got more women by just being me, being frank. Listen, I'm not going to pretend. I probably don't want a long-term relationship with you. I'd love to fuck you for life. How about that? A little bit different with each woman. I never spent more than 10 minutes picking up a woman, willing and knowing that we were going to go home and fuck. Be yourself. Be frank. Tell the truth. Life will reward you.
So I guess what you're saying is fortune favors the brave.
Well, that's one way of looking at it, because listen, the assumption in all of this, if you're going to lead a legitimate and truthful life existence, bravery is the number one talent that you got to fucking have, because the world out there. What is the world out there? It's that world that you don't see, the world that you don't want to see. You want to be in your world of convenience and comfort, of waking up in your nice suburban house and commuting to work in that same car and sitting in that same windowless, airless office environment for 8 hours and commuting back home. And this is your comfort level. Well, I mean, that's such a tiny, insignificant spark of existence that is not worth talking about. But if you're willing to get outside that, good God, if you don't have balls, then stay where you are.
Yeah. It's a crazy fucking world, man. Because, I mean, if we get back to your story, so McAfee flying, you put it out there for free, and if you're a corporation, you have to pay a fee, and then they bought you out of your company after a while for 100 million. So you wake up one day and you've got like 100 million. Where do you go from there?
Well, I became a serial entrepreneur. From there, I went and co-founded Zone Labs right across the hill in Silicon Valley from McAfee, which I had started. And I put about $1 million into it, and 14 months later, we sold it to Checkpoint Systems in Israel for $400 million. From there, I created Tribal Voice, the first instant messaging system, as just a lark, just for something to do, with myself and 4 programmers. And we played with that for a year, and we sold it to CMGI for $17 million. And I just been doing the same thing I've always done, which is entrepreneur.
So what's the future of programming look like to you? Because it seems to be a lot more accessible nowadays. Like, you have all these apps that basically teach people the basics of programming. For me, it's always been a kind of, I've never had much interest in it because I probably have a bit of dyscalculia. When I see numbers, I'm like, oh, it's kind of, even if I'm playing tab on the guitar, I kind of just look at numbers and they kind of get all jumbled up. That's me personally. I'm great with text and vocabulary, but when it comes to dealing in anything that's too heavy numerically, I'm like, fuck it. It's the wrong way to be. I should challenge it head on.
I've been a programmer my entire life, and I know as much about it as anyone, perhaps. Programming is changing, and the world is changing because of a new technology called the blockchain, a trustless and permanent, unchangeable record of reality. That's what the blockchain is, or will be. It is that now for certain tiny segments of reality. And programming used to be programming computers, meaning you've got a computer, whether it's a laptop or whatever, you're programming an application that'll run on that computer. But we have to redefine now what computer really means, because we are in the age of the internet, and computers are no longer these tiny things called smartphones and iPads, laptops, and desktops. Those are tiny elements. They're just one instruction set in this new program. And that is a higher level programming manifest in the blockchain by the programming of smart contracts. I think we have gone 2 levels above what we understood programming to be just 10 years ago. But programming a system of human communication and transaction through the use of programming language designed to guarantee that no matter who you are and who the other person is, neither one can screw the other one. And this is the magic. And this is where all future programming is going to be, on the various blockchains and cryptocurrency that support smart contracts.
In terms of, let's say, Bitcoin versus precious metals, let's say the gold standard, would like precious minerals still be considered a tangible source of wealth? You know, obviously you've got gold and silver, and the markets are manipulated to keep them. I do
not think that a metallic element or 2 or 3, platinum, gold, silver, for example, no matter how viewed, is going to have any value whatsoever 100 years from now, other than the value inherent in these elements' use as ornamentation. This I truly believe. I do not think anything in 100 years will have any economic value other than electronic currencies. They are faster, they are more powerful, they're smoother, they're slicker, they're more easy to use. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Look, because it kind of, if you look at like fiat currency today in terms of how it's traded and how it's manifested, how it's stored. Previously, you had money, which was paper, which was supposed to be a bond for precious metals. And then, like, after Nixon took the gold standard away, and it just became paper. It feels like fiat currency, as it stands at the moment, aside from blockchains, is worthless. It's just like monopoly money now, because at least when it was gold backed, you knew you could go in and take a gold, like $20 worth of gold. You knew it was backed up by that. But now it's kind of, who's to say that the banks who control the global market, how come they haven't tried to get in, or are they trying to make their own version of blockchains?
Okay, that's a lot of questions, but I'll try to sum them all up. Let's go back 5,000 years before the invention of currency in any form. Mm-hmm. And what did we have? We had a farmer coming into town with 2 chickens, and another one with half of a pig, and another one with a bushel of potatoes, and they all sat and dickered all day long about, no, I think 2 chickens for half a pig is not right. And it was chaos and certainly inefficient. Then somebody thought of the idea of exchanges. Exchanges. No one considers this. See, there were exchanges even back 5,000 years ago in China and in India at the very least, beginning even in Egypt. And these exchanges did one thing. They said, listen, let's all agree on some unit, all right? And what we'll do is we will evaluate or create initially some number of units allocated to half a pig, a number of units allocated to a chicken, and the number of units allocated to a bushel of potatoes. And people go, well, goddamn, well, that's a nice idea. In order for this to work, you had to trust the exchange. Well, I mean, the exchange is in the center of fucking town, surrounded by people who were counting on the exchange to be honest and open. Those that were not, you got slaughtered out of Monday morning. Literally. I don't mean you got slaughtered in the market. I mean, you got slaughtered. This was the beginning of money. And from this idea of exchange, what is the unit of exchange? 1/2 a pig is 31 units and 1 chicken is only 9. So you need 3.17 chickens to get my 1/2 a pig. Goddamn, is that not easy? It's not the currency. It's not the fiat versus the crypto. No,
it's the product.
It's the exchange.
Yeah.
Please God, see this. That exchange, which is trusted by everyone, that has no meat in the game, that does not keep any of your money, doesn't touch your money, doesn't touch your tokens or coins, that doesn't charge you for listing, list for free. It's that thing. It's that thing that's going to free us from all of this discussion about central banks and money supply and fiat, because this will be something owned by and controlled by every citizen of the world. And I've been waiting. I've been talking for 2.5 years on stage saying, people, without a decentralized exchange, we will die. Because governments with all of their power will shut down every centralized exchange on the planet. And I hope I explained how crucial exchanges are.
Yeah,
to a currency. You must have them. And I have built one with the McAfee decks. Listings are free, and we don't hold anything. It's yours. It's open source. If you want to take that source, It's mostly logic in the smart contracts on the blockchains. But if you want to take it, take it. It's available. Make your own. Compete with me. I don't care. I want you to. In order to survive as a cryptocurrency, as a blockchain community, we must have true, decentralized, and distributed exchanges.
Well, you of all people understand that the Federal Reserve is the head of a snake when it comes
yes, duh.
Yeah.
Please God. And then gets even more twisted because the Federal Reserve is at the beck and call of the covert and powerful agencies, covert agencies within the U.S. government, like the CIA. And if people of the world do not think the CIA has omniscient power, wake up and move out of your mom's basement, because they do.
Yeah, I've eased off the conspiracies there because, but not saying that they're. Obviously, I've done a lot, and I realize how the world works, and I'm like, all right, I need to take a chill from this kind of stuff. But it's quite clear exactly what's going on globally.
I just got this sign from my boss, Miss Janice. We have time for one more question. I'm sorry, my friend.
No worries, mate. I had a good few questions here. First of all, before we go, I was asked by Carl and his brother Jared Dempsey from Athlone to get you on, so be sure to give them a shout out.
Okay, please send that information to Janice with the handle, everything I need to do, and I will do that. Okay, but if you're telling me here, I'm 74, and information goes to my brain like water. But Janice will get that to me. Okay.
Fair play. Yeah, I suppose the last question would be for a man of 74, you look very well. What's the key?
Thank you very much. Listen, I don't feel that very well. I feel like I'm in the body of a 100-year-old, quite frankly. The secret is, for example, my 35-year-old wife. Okay?
Yeah, she is.
All right, then.
Hi,
so,
Janice,
I always am with women at least 30 years younger than me. And as Janice knows, within 5 or 6 years, I'm going to have to trade her in for a younger model just so I can continue to survive. But that's a secret. Young women. Well, you dudes out there that are, wondering. Young women.
Well, right? As they say in Ireland, John, it's not as old as you feel. It's as old as the woman you're feeling.
Maybe that's it. That's it.
Well, thanks very much for having us on. Can I ask a question? What's the foil in the background?
The what? The foil. Okay, so I don't know if you've kept up with our progress, but over the past 6 months, we have been chased by the Bahamian authorities on behalf of the CIA. We were called into a general's office in Cuba after we'd been there for a month and a half, who said that the U.S. has asked that we return you to America, but we would prefer that you just leave. We're giving you 72 hours. We were out of there. 4.5 days at sea, we pull into the Dominican Republic. And before we can reach port, we are surrounded by paramilitary people with fully automatic machine guns and itchy-looking trigger fingers. 4 days later, we get out of jail. My lawyers having successfully, because the Dominican Republic tried to send us back. My lawyers managed to quash that. And they asked where we did want to go. I said England. And that's the last known location that we've divulged. Not even our closest friends, not even our family have a clue where we are.
How did it feel? It must.
I don't know. Listen, I've had meaner people chasing me, I'll tell you that. Listen, all the CIA is going to do is waterboard you. I promise you will survive that.
Dick Cheney,
I've had people chasing us while I've been with Janice, she can verify this multiple times, who wanted to remove fingers and skin, eyes, and start burning your extremities up to your elbows and knees in order to get information. Listen, please God, CIA, just keep yourself between me and those guys and chase me as much as you like. Yeah, I'm up for it.
What do you think of Snowden's treatment at the moment? Because apparently he's not doing too good.
Listen, I think Snowden is an extraordinarily bright young man who has made a few strategic errors on air wars. I used to work for Booz Allen and Hamilton in New York City on 11th Avenue, and for 2 years, cushy fucking jobs. I will say anybody looking for little work and much money, go to Booz Allen. Or the competitors, McKinsey or Boston Consulting. There's only 3. So I was there. I understand the environment. If I were him, I would have, number one, kept my mouth shut entirely until I had established myself in a place where I would be free and comfortable. Number 2, he managed to make his way to Hong Kong. Well, fuck me. I mean, that's the mecca for people who have fucked up and need to fade away into a back alley. Well, yes, hang there. No, what did he do? He flew from Hong Kong to Moscow. What idiot does that after the press is already sniffing the story? So, no offense, by the way, to Edward Snowden. I think he's a brilliant man with not enough practical experience with the world.
Did I say Snowden? I meant Assange, sorry. Yeah, Snowden. He got off all right. Well, he's a lot better than Assange, because Assange looks like
Assange. Yeah, well, listen, Assange, another very brave and bright man who has made some strategic as well as tactical errors. I mean, he's not going to be speaking to the world again. You all understand that out there. He is in custody. They don't want to punish him for anything. They don't want money from him. They just want to silence him once and for all. Not by whacking him, or that does happen, but by just putting him in a federal prison where your voice can no longer be heard. That is another goddamn problem. Incarceration doesn't mean silencing people. It does not mean shutting a person's mouth. It means shutting away their body. Anyway, that's another hot one. And my friend, we are out of time. I wish I had more time for you.
John, right. Thank you very much, and thank you to Janice as well for getting this together. It was a real pleasure talking to you. And best of luck, and I hope you keep us entertained in the future.
If I'm just entertainment, that's okay with me.
No.
Should I not be paid if I'm entertainment? Let's all get real, people. If I'm entertainment, all right, I want to start expecting money from you. Thank you, my friend. I've enjoyed this.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Bye-bye.
Best of luck. Bye-bye.